Welcome to AirMiners Boot Up. We're excited to have you here and to get you started learning about all things carbon removal. So in this orientation video, we're going to start off with looking at the basic boot up structure. So I want to emphasize that boot up is more like a scheduled and focused discussion group than a course. There aren't any mentors or experts or teachers that will be teaching you this material. Instead, we've curated some of the best carbon removal content out there for you to go through across a wide variety of carbon removal approaches. Each week, you'll be responsible for going through this learning content, whether readings, videos, and podcasts, and I'll show you how to access all that on the website in a moment. When Boot Up begins, you'll be added to a team of 5 to 8 other Boot Up participants that are as excited to learn about carbon removal as you are. The basic flow of Boot Up is that you'll go through learning materials about a particular topic, and then you'll meet with your team to discuss that topic and share ideas. Each week covers 2 topics, so you'll have 2 meetings per week with your team for 5 weeks, and therefore you'll have a total of 10 total meetings throughout Boot Up. One note here, we really do care about your commitment. After you complete orientation, you'll be given the link to join Slack. Please only join Slack if you're serious about going through the course materials and attending as many meetings as you possibly can. When team members start to drop out or ghost meetings, it gets really discouraging for people looking to stay in and learn as a group. If you don't have enough time to join Boot Up this go around, we'll be happy to have you in a later cohort. Great, so with that out of the way, there's just 2 things you'll need to always know in order to succeed in Boot Up. Those are when your next meeting is and what you need to read and review before the next meeting. So let's go over each of those 2 things, starting with when your next meeting is. So let's look at the schedule. So all Boot Up teams meet twice per week and either meet on Tuesdays and Saturdays or on Wednesdays and Sundays. I want to emphasize that your team's meeting time has already been selected. Everyone, when filling out the initial sign-up form for Boot Up, answered this question indicating when they are available for meetings, and your team will be composed only of people who picked the same time as you. That will be the time when your team will meet. Once you get added to a team, which will happen in a few days, you'll be able to see very clearly on Slack what your team's meeting time is. In terms of where to meet, we'll provide you with a wonder.me link that your team is free to use for your meetings by default. However, if you prefer Zoom or Google Meet, please feel free to set that up for your team instead. Now let's talk about the curriculum. Like I said before, there are 10 meetings throughout Boot Up, 2 per week for 5 weeks, and you can sort of see all the topics listed here. Before each meeting, you should go through as much of the learning material in that module as you can to prepare for the discussion. Your place to access these materials will be on the website on bootup.airminers.org. So let's take a look at that website now. So you can see here, I am at bootup.airminers.org. And you can feel free to read through some of the introductory and help materials available on the home page here and on the syllabus and schedule page, as well as on the FAQ page. But the real stuff that you need is available under this resources section. And you can see under resources here, we have 1 page for each meeting of Boot Up. So let's click on the meeting 1 page, and the first section on each website page contains a large button that will take you to the reading materials that you should go through before that meeting. So clicking on this one, note that this link takes us to the Climate Change Academy website. We're on Module 1 here, which corresponds to the Meeting 1 page we were just on. Scrolling down, you'll see all the resources available for this module. There's a lot of content here, much more than you'll likely be able to go through in the half a week between each meeting. So note that the content is divided into 3 sections. There's the high flyer section. This is short, high-level overview material about the topic that you should definitely make time to review. Then the climate student section contains longer, more detailed material that will give you essential understanding and background on the topic. You don't have to go through all of this section before your meeting, but try to go through at least 1 or 2 items that catch your eye. Finally, the climate master section is often very detailed and is very much optional for Boot Up purposes, but if you really want to dive into one of the topics, it's there for you to check out. Again, no need to stress out about getting through all of the content. Before each meeting, just focus on getting through the high flyer section and maybe a few other things that catches your eye, whatever looks interesting. So going back to the bootup.airminers.org page, underneath the big reading materials button, you'll first find a brief paragraph here with a recommendation on which content to focus on to maximize your time. And scrolling down further, you'll see a meeting agenda for your team's discussion meeting. This first meeting agenda includes introductions to kick your discussion meeting off, but all agendas will have some icebreaker question along with guided questions about the reading for that meeting. At the bottom of the page, you'll find a button to give feedback on the curriculum content if you so please, a fun optional challenge for your team to try, and of course, a meme related to the material. And that's about it. For each meeting, you can check out the associated page on the website. So we could check out meeting 2.2, click on the big button for the associated Carbon Removal Academy content for you to go through, and then see your meeting agenda when you scroll down. Great, so going back to the slides, I just want to finish up with a quick look into Slack. So at Boot Up, we use Slack for all communications purposes, and just as a brief rundown of the channels we use, starting on the announcements channel, here we'll keep you posted on when meetings are coming up and give you easy links to the website page, like the ones we just saw that you'll need to access for that meeting. We also hope that one or more members of your team will step up to help moderate your team's meetings. And if that's you, we can add you to the group moderators channel for discussion and advice about moderating. If you get confused or have questions, you can post them on the questions channel. The fun optional challenges for your team that you saw at the bottom of each meeting page require you to post things on #random. And finally, you'll be added to a channel called Team Animal Name. This is a private channel for just your team. So for example, you could see Team Beagle here. And this is where your team can communicate and get everything set before and after meetings. You'll be added to your team's private channel the weekend before your first meeting. And sort of on that note, let's lastly talk about the timeline here. So right now, once you finish this orientation module, you'll be given a link to join the Boot Up Slack. No need to do anything there now, as we won't be adding you to your team until the weekend before your first meeting. Feel free to get a head start on the meeting 1 content if you so choose before then. Then, like I just said, this weekend you'll be sorted into your team and added to that private channel. At that time, you can see when your team's meeting day and time is, although like I said, you already chose this in the initial sign-up form, and you can say hi there and introduce yourself. Finally, the fun begins on next Tuesday or Wednesday with meeting 1. Be sure to read through some of the content in module 1 before then. And with that, I hope you enjoy Boot Up. Thanks for watching this orientation video. Now you can complete the form that you just were on Airtable, and after that you'll be given your link to join Slack, and I hope to see you there. Thanks so much.